You may not realize how dangerous scam calling is until you hear this story, when a scam call literally ends up in murder. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Christosophy, the show where we talk about relevant topics and shine light into the darkest of places and spaces. This episode will be no different. However, it's extremely sad due to the death of one Lalitha Hall, who was an Uber driver shot by a confused elderly man as they were both tricked by a scammer. Like the video, subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss as I drop videos like this, and share these videos as it really helps the channel grow. So let's dive into this story. I'm going to play the video because there's video to go along with it, but I want to warn you, while this video is not extremely graphic, it is extremely disturbing due to the fact that the shooter of Lalitha Hall does so off camera. So you're able to hear everything that's happening, but you're not able to see the actual shooting. Let me do this because it's very important that I do this in every episode where there's been a loss of life. We're going to have a moment of silence, and I almost forgot, but I never want to forget to give respect to people's lives. Rest in peace, Lalitha Hall. Let's play the video and then we'll react. She's screaming for help. Okay, she's in the car now, it sounds like. Oh, I think those were, yep, those were the shots.
Give me that phone.
Wow, it sounds like he's mocking her.
I'll shoot you in the head. Don't do that, please.
He says, "I'll shoot you in the head."
Who do you work for?
Uber. It's right up there. You can see it.
He says, "Who do you work for?" She says, "Uber."
You can look, sir. Please. Just look.
So the tape doesn't lie. There's a lot more to this story than maybe the articles are putting out. So let's break down the footage itself and then I'll give you the story. So clearly she's here saying, "Please, sir, don't." He's saying, "Give me the phone. Give me the phone." He says, "Who do you work for?" She says she works for Uber. She's here to pick up a package and he says, "No, I know what you're here for. You're here for." And then he doesn't finish the sentence. She jumps into the car. You can hear the car door open, and that's when the audio gets much louder, more audible at that point. Then you hear what sounds like gunshots, multiple gunshots. That's when she starts screaming. Okay, so at this point, this woman is screaming for help. She was screaming for help before that. She gets shot and is still screaming for help, not representing any threat to this man. Okay, then, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, he mocks her. He screams help while she's screaming help, as a way to mock her after he's just shot her. So we'll need more clarity on that bit of audio. Again, I'll leave the link to the original video down in the description below. But based off of that and the background story that I'm about to tell you, it sounds that while this man was originally tricked, he's without excuse for his behavior once he had the gun. Okay, so let me preface this by saying, of course, I'm for self-defense. If somebody is threatening you, this was not one of those situations. So here's the background. A scammer, we don't know his name, calls this elderly man impersonating a court official, a lawyer or someone like that. He then says that he has one of this elderly man's family members in prison, okay? And that he needed to come and pay a large amount of money. I believe, according to reports, it's around $12,000. They will continue to be in jail unless this man pays this money. But then this conversation ends up with him saying that he's holding this family member hostage and that he's going to harm this family member unless this money comes in. So okay, granted, this 81-year-old man is probably scared out of his mind. He's confused out of his mind. So while I'm going to condemn his actions, we can at least be fair and understand that certainly at his age, he was probably under a lot of stress. That part is the excusable part. The unexcusable part we'll get to. The scammer then calls Lalitha Hall, who is a now deceased Uber driver, rest in peace. And apparently it's through the Uber app. Somehow messages her through the Uber app, telling her to pick up a package at the location of the man who he was just threatening. So Lalitha then shows up at the home to ask Mr. Brock, his full name is William Brock, about the package. He then confronts her with the gun. That's where at some point this video picks up. And here's the issue. This man is being charged with murder. And I think that's absolutely appropriate. The reason they're charging him with murder is because there was no active threat to his life. He obviously had the upper hand having the gun. I understand he may have been scared. I understand he may have been confused, but he obviously had the situation under control. You had this woman, Lalitha, backing down and actively calling for help, actively making her position known to anybody who would come in and help her, okay? He is obviously feeling comfortable, as the video sounds like he's even mocking her. He's saying, give me your phone. Who do you work for? All these kinds of things. Okay, this woman has not pulled out any kind of weapon. And I'm just going to go on a hunch. If you're sending someone to go and threaten somebody, Miss Lalitha Hall would not be the person to send. I mean, she was beautiful, God rest her soul, but she ain't the one that you're sending to go and threaten somebody. Okay, so this should have triggered something in this guy's mind that, hey, maybe, I don't know, this lady ain't the one, okay? Especially when she's screaming for help. She's unarmed, okay? And the authorities are saying that at this point, there was no active threat to the man, and he should have called the police, okay? There's no problem. Somebody's on your property. You don't know who they are. You pull out your gun. Okay, you've got control of the situation. Call the cops. There's no need to end this in murder. And he shoots her multiple times. And although I'm not sure whether he mocks her by screaming help when she's screaming help, I think that's what happened. After that, he then tells her, I heard this in the video and you did too, I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
I'll shoot you in the head.
Don't do that, please.
You see, at this point, Mr. Brock loses all credibility. He obviously had the upper hand. He obviously was in control of the situation. There was obviously no direct threat to him. And I don't even know how the story works in his mind, because according to the scam caller, they were going to hurt his family member if he didn't come and pay money. So why was he expecting someone to show up at his house threatening him at all? So the story itself doesn't even connect. And at that point, I believe that while this man, William Brock, may have been scared and confused, at some point that changed and he had malice in his heart and even murderous intent, as he shot her 3 times. And only after the 3rd shot was fired did he call the police. The police took Miss Hall to the hospital, where she died of her injuries. And so another natural question is, like, why would the scammer do this at all? Why would he coordinate something like this? It doesn't actually make him more. You know what he was probably thinking? Let me just send somebody over there so that this Mr. Brock thinks that this is for real, that this is a legitimate operation and that we mean what we say. I mean, I don't think he knew he was sending Miss Lalitha over there, not the most intimidating person in the world. But nonetheless, he needs to be held responsible for his role in what Mr. Brock did. So this story is bad on so many levels. Obviously, we need to crack down on scam calling, because people can take advantage of people of really any age. But of course, the elderly can be more vulnerable and susceptible to that kind of thing. But this man, Mr. Brock, who was scammed, had something much darker and more sinister than making some scam calls and collecting some cash from elderly folks. This man had murderous intent. And so, folks, the moral of the story is that technology is dangerous, but it's a medium. It can do good and bad, just like a hammer. It can build a house or it can destroy things. When you have evil in someone's heart, that is what can turn anything into a dangerous weapon, even a phone call. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Wow. Crazy world we live in. I'd love to chat it up with you guys, as always, down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss more content that I drop, and share this video as we continue to shine light into the darkness. Fight evil.